This is Al McKay. Welcome to episode 117. We are flying through these. So I want to quickly wish you a Merry Christmas. I know we've got a couple of days out, and I hope wherever you are, you're staying warm. I'm in Los Angeles right now. I'm actually pre-recording this, so I'm hoping I'm in Los Angeles right now. But that being said, this episode is going to be a really cool one on building your social capital. If you want to check out the show notes for this, as well as get the guide, by now, come on, I hope you've already gotten the guide, but I've written a free ebook that comes with this, which goes through all the key insights, all the information, everything that we discussed this month with all these episodes. If you want to check it out, go to the show notes, almckay.com/117. At the same time, leave me a message. There should be a button on the right. Click that. Send me a message. Let me know how you're finding these. Do you want more of these? At the same time, what are some of the big realizations or key takeaways that you're getting from these episodes so far? That being said, let's dive into this episode.
Welcome to the Alan McKay Podcast. Alan is an Emmy Award-winning visual effects artist and mentor to many leading industry experts. Listen in as Alan talks with other industry leaders in film, video games, and visual effects about their experience, lessons, and methodology. Alan will teach you pivotal advice to fast-track your career, better your skills, and reach your ultimate dream job. Check out the latest episodes on alanmckay.com.
So I thought it would be fun for a moment just to talk about social capital. And that's one of those things that whether you like it or not, we all love to use the network word. And usually what we associate with that is that, oh, I need to travel and go to this conference and network with people because I need to get new connections and grow my business and do all these things. And yes, networking is probably the most important skill that you can have. Or I should be a bit more accurate and say that I think that communication, having a solid ability to communicate with other people, is by far the most important skill that you could ever have. And I definitely will be devoting an entire month to that, about confidence, competence, networking, about having that social muscle to be able to walk into a room full of strangers, whether it is at a conference or whether it's at a Starbucks, and be able to work the room, have everyone laughing, and have a good time. I think by far it's probably the one thing that scared me the most in life. And as soon as I started to really devote my time to it, I've found that this opened up more opportunities than being skillful or anything else having talent could ever do. But at the same time, you don't need to be hopping on a plane and going to some boring conference to be able to expand your network. And more importantly, you should be looking more internally at what you currently have, what your social capital is, whether you like it or not. Your friends, the people around you right now, that is your network. You can aspire to have a bigger network, more successful people, and bring all these people into your life. But right now, what you have, your immediate network, is your friends, your colleagues, all the people that are in your day-to-day life. So rather than shunning them and focusing on external networks, you should really start to evaluate who you have in your current circle. And this is one of those subjects that I think is so critical, but at the same time, I think that it is very easy to misunderstand, and this could come out very sleazy, but that is to start to sit down and perhaps even write it down. I honestly think it is better to write it down, or, and this is where I feel like it gets sleazy, is put it into a spreadsheet, but go through every single person in your family. Who are the successful ones? Who are the ones that have a skill or a trait that could be valuable to you? Who are your friends, and what do they do? What are their careers? Are they good at making money? Are they socially more advanced than you are when it comes to communicating with other people, with business? Do you have friends who are really good at putting together web pages or doing design? Like, what are the things that people do that could be valuable to you? Looking and putting all that down, building that into groups, categorizing people, seeing how they all fit together. This is your network as if it was your company, your business. That's why it sounds so sleazy, because if I were to say, well, let me look at how I can use and utilize my friends for my benefit in such a black and white manner, sounds freaking terrible. It's not the way that I think. And the way I see my friends is I'm grateful to have so many amazing people who, whether they're financially successful or whether they are just amazing, genuine people, these are the people I value. But at the same time, I think it is worthwhile to start to really look at all of these people and their talents. And maybe along the way, you're going to realize there's actually some really negative people that don't really contribute much to your circle, to your life at all. And perhaps are more vampires that really kind of suck time, energy, put more stress on your life, all of these things. But bit by bit, going through everyone, going through more of your less immediate circles, such as work, extended friendships, people in other cities, online friends, really start to evaluate all of your friends, everyone around you. And I'm laughing because, again, it does make you to sound like that vampire in the beginning, but hear me out. This is valuable for many reasons, and I think it is because we take it for granted. We live in a world where now, like, I look at my Facebook. I never really got to enjoy Facebook because 99% of the people on my Facebook I don't even know. I've never met. I don't know who they are. And it's so hard for me to keep track of my friends because many of us travel, many of us have a lot going on, but I am grateful when I do get that face-to-face time. But by doing this, you might start to realize, wow, like I've got these people I haven't spoken to in a long time. I really got to catch up with them. And you start to realize, like, hey, I do have a pretty amazing network already of people that I just take for granted and actually could be really valuable to have around me. More importantly, though, and this is the important part, is to think about how you can value them, or how, if they were to do an evaluation on their circle, how you fit into that. Because networking is not a one-way thing. If you go up to people and work a room and all you're trying to do is like figure out like how someone can benefit you, and I feel like whether you like it or not, like LA can definitely be that way in certain ways. You can spot that a mile away. It's such a sleazy and kind of just dirty thing. You can tell that people aren't interested in you. They're seeing like, hey, you're successful, or you're this, you have a lot of money. We should be friends because this would help me in some way. And this is where I want you to start to think about, well, how do all these people, like if you were to list the top 20, 30 people, how would they convey you? How would you rank in their setting? Are you someone that is contributing a lot to their social capital, to their net worth, in the sense of when I say like your network is your net worth? Are you contributing much to theirs? Because if you start to think and honestly think like, hey, you know what? Like, no, I really take my friendships for granted. They're very surface level things. We go out and drink a lot, but this is not someone that I would invite to my wedding or really confide in or rely on in a tough situation. That's when you got to start to think yourself about how you act and making sure that you don't have these one-sided relationships. Because part of having a strong network is by having solid relationships. Okay? So one thing that I want you to do is to start to think about all of these people that you consider to be really valuable to you, whether they do an amazing job and money and all those things and are successful, or whether or not they're just great friends. But think about how you can give back to them, how you can benefit them, how you can contribute more to them. And this is where a lot of business and success and a lot of great things happen, is not going and working in a stupid fucking room in San Diego or Vegas, wherever you're going to have that conference. It's about strengthening your current foundation relationships. And by doing that, it's cutting the bullshit and not having that surface level stuff, but more importantly, bringing value to all these people. And this doesn't mean calling them up necessarily and just saying, hey, what's up? This is more about what can I contribute to them? And there's multiple ways you can do this. There's the business connections. In other words, being able to offer someone a connection to someone else that could value them financially or with work or whatever. Or maybe it's more of an emotional connection. Maybe it's someone that seeks you out to turn to when they're going through bullshit. You're the person who is able to take them out for a drink and really make them feel better about themselves. Or maybe there's someone that seeks you out for advice. You're more of a knowledgeable connection. Whatever it is, whether it's professional, whether it's more knowledgeable, like a mentor, or whether it's more of an emotional connection, look at how those relationships work and what you can do to benefit them. Because a lot of the times you might be thinking, I have a friend who's working on a book, and I have this other friend who is a designer. What if I teed up the two people together, made an introduction between the two? They could create a valuable connection. It's not about me trying to build more connections, but instead helping my current connections connect with each other to strengthen us as a circle, by one person being able to get work doing design, which is what they do for a living, while the other person is able to complete their book because they know now this designer who's able to work with them. If it's someone who's trying to get their taxes done, they're in a new city and they don't know anyone, and you know an accountant who you rely on, who you trust. Again, whatever the connections are, being able to think about this and see who you could bring together, who you can connect with. and reaching out to each of those people individually to say, hey, do you need a hand with this? I was just thinking about you, and I was thinking that I've got a friend of mine who's really great who I could connect to you with, and at the same time doing it with the other person. Hey, I know that you're a really talented designer. I've got a friend who might need some design work. Do you have any availability right now? Would you be interested in me making the introduction? By doing that and then making that introduction between the two after they both say yes, because they might say, no, I actually found someone, or I'm too booked up right now. But if they in fact do want to make that connection, then this is a chance for you to be the person who does it. And sometimes a simple little introduction between two people can change lives. And more importantly, they're always going to look back at you being the one who instigated that. Now, this might sound like, oh, wow, that's great, but you're thinking about the immediacy of, I just want money. I don't care about doing all this stuff because I want to just get that immediacy of getting that instant gratification. Then you're not thinking long term. You're not thinking about your networking. If you weren't and brought in more people into your circle, you're obviously not going to contribute much value to them. So why are you doing it in the first place? You need to create valuable relationships within the social circles that you already have. So again, the people that you work with, have you ever thought about maybe inviting some of them out for dinner or going to lunch with them and actually getting to know them beyond the bullshit that you talk and joke about all the time? Actually bringing value to people, actually treating them like a human being, getting to know someone and actually just going and listening. More importantly, catching up with friends, trying to do that a couple times a week and just ask them, like, how's everything going? Is there anything that you need help with right now? I'm just curious what you are working on, if you've got anything going on that maybe I can help you with. And sometimes it's a simple thing like asking people, like, how can I help you? I want to help. What can I do? This is when people are caught off guard and they actually are able to say, well, now that you mention it, I noticed you know so-and-so, or, I was wondering if I can get a hand with this, or do you know anybody who could do this, or I've been wondering about this for a while, like what would I do in this situation because I'm going through this right now. Like I said, emotional support, knowledge and advice, or professional connections, all of these are worth it in the long run. The more you strengthen your friendships, the more you strengthen your relationships, even just strictly business relationships, the more you're able to do that, the more you become a power connector. And that means that you're someone that everyone values and sees as being someone with a strong network. And bit by bit, people are going to reciprocate. They're going to return the favor and introduce you to other people as well, which in return means that you grow your network. So without needing to go to that shady conference in Singapore or Hong Kong or Sydney, Australia, wherever it is, and I am listing bit by bit every single conference city in the world, you're able to actually build solid connections with people who have those commonalities, and better yet, you're able to get a solid introduction from someone who they would see as having value. So rather than a cold connection, in other words, going and shaking someone's hand and saying hi and trying to validate yourself, sell yourself to them, this is a chance where you get that warm mutual connection between two people. And that is way more powerful when someone's able to say, this is Sarah and she's amazingly talented at what she does. I cannot say enough great things about them. This is a really good friend of mine. I think this would be really valuable for the two of you to know each other. That is going to be worth its weight in gold. So think about that. I just want to throw that out there. I could go on and on and on, but I actually am going to leave this for a month where I really want to talk about how to really strengthen and build a very solid network. A lot more than just this, but I think that it is worthwhile right now, especially in the holiday season where this is a chance for you to reach out and to talk to people and reconnect, to have that Christmas party and mention, invite everyone to and have this face-to-face time with everyone. This is a chance to start to reevaluate your relationships, your friendships, your professional relationships as well, and stop thinking that you need to find new people when you already have an amazing, I guarantee you do, have an amazing network of people in your life already. And like I said, it might sound a bit sleazy at first, going and ranking and seeing how people can benefit you, but what you're really doing is you're starting to really think about it for probably the first time ever. What do people do? What's their skills? What are the things that they have going on in their life? How do I value them? Then think about how you value and contribute to them, because if it isn't on an even level, then you need to step that up. You need to stop being a shitty friend or a shitty colleague and start to do that more. But by thinking about how they contribute or what they do, it's more about you just being able to put a label on that, so that as you start to connect the dots, as you start to think about what others do, you can start to think, well, I've got all these people, they do all this. Why don't we set up a group call? We do a mastermind call and we do all this. Or I can get all these people together and try and connect them so that way they can work together. Whatever it is that you can do to bring people together, to bring value by connecting them together. Doing whatever you can to benefit and bring value to other people. So think about that. I think it's such a powerful thing. And this might be a chance for you to realize that you have a really amazing network of people that you might take for granted and you might overlook. And this is a chance to start stepping it up and reconnecting with these people and seeing what you can do to better their lives. And like I said, there's always that reciprocation. People will return the favor. Don't do it because of that, but it doesn't matter whether it's now or 6 months from now. The more you do this, the more it's going to come back tenfold. And that isn't some do to others as they do to you or however it goes, but it's more just pure math. Okay, so think about that. Do that. Put in the time now, whether it is a spreadsheet or pen and paper, but start to think about how you can bring value to everyone around you in your network and start to realize that you have an amazing network right here in front of you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I was just about to say thanks to me for taking the time out to do that interview, and I just realized that it wasn't an interview, so go figure. But I hope you found that episode valuable, and more importantly, I hope you're finding all of this valuable. Like I said, I want to see whether or not you're finding these beneficial right now, so let me know if I should put more focus on doing these for January, for February, picking these subjects and really deep diving into learn a new skill and fully immerse yourself throughout the year, because again, that total immersion is the best way to learn. If you want to check out the show notes, more importantly, if you could leave me a review, please, early Christmas present, just go to the show notes, almckay.com/117. And even if you hate the podcast, leave a review. Tell me it sucks. I'm cool with that. But if you're enjoying it and want to leave a review, that would mean the world to me. There's a link in the show notes. So again, almckay.com/117. Check it out. Get the guide. Couple more episodes left for the year, and then we're done. This is pretty exciting. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Thanks again for listening. I'll be back. Rock on.